Welcome back. Tonight we're exploring a new kind of horror, the kind that lives in your pocket or sits on your desk. Our devices connect us, but they can also expose us to dangers we never imagined. You'll hear 3 chilling true stories of lost phones and laptops that became gateways to terror. These aren't just tales, they're warnings. After tonight, you might never look at your own phone the same way again. Tonight, we delve into the unsettling realm of the unknown, where technology blurs the line between convenience and creeping dread. Our first story is about Alex, a young professional living in the city. He was just trying to make his way home after a long day at the office, completely unaware of the chilling encounter that awaited him. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Alex found a lost phone on a quiet city street after work. The streetlights cast long, eerie shadows, and the silence was almost deafening. It was lying face down on the cold pavement, seemingly abandoned. He picked it up, intending to do the right thing, planning to return it to its rightful owner. He figured someone must be frantically searching for it. He felt a sense of responsibility wash over him, but as often happens, curiosity got the better of him. A nagging feeling tugged at him, urging him to take a peek. He told himself it was just to find some contact information. To his surprise, the phone unlocked without a password. No PIN, no fingerprint, no facial recognition. It was as if the owner wanted someone to access it. A shiver ran down his spine. He cautiously navigated to the photo gallery, and what he found sent a wave of unease through him. The photo gallery was filled with hundreds of blurry nighttime photos. They were all pictures of houses, each one taken from the street, each one unsettling in its voyeuristic nature. The angles were strange, the lighting was off, and there was a palpable sense of something not being right. Suddenly, as he was scrolling through the disturbing images, a message appeared from Jay, a single, ominous letter. The message read, "Did you find what you were looking for?" The question hung in the air, heavy with implication. Alex froze, his blood turning to ice. He felt a prickling sensation on the back of his neck as if he were being watched. And then another message, a second wave of dread washing over him, simply, "I see you." The words were cold, direct, and utterly terrifying. He instinctively looked out his window, scanning the street below. But there was nothing, just the empty street, bathed in the pale glow of the streetlights, or so he thought. He tried to brush it off as a prank, a twisted joke by some anonymous stranger. He told himself he was being paranoid. Gathering his courage, he texted back, attempting to regain control of the situation. He typed, "I have your phone. Where can I return it?" He tried to sound calm and collected, but his hands were shaking as he typed the message. The reply was almost instantaneous, a chilling response that shattered any remaining sense of security. "No need," the message read. "I know where you are." The words echoed in his mind, confirming his worst fears. Then a photo arrived, an image that made his heart leap into his throat. It was a picture of his own apartment building taken from outside just moments ago. The camera angle was from the street, and he could see his own window in the frame. Panic set in, gripping him with icy fingers. He was no longer just unnerved, he was terrified. He frantically locked his doors, bolting them shut as if that could keep the unseen threat at bay. He drew the curtains, plunging his apartment into darkness, hoping to disappear from view. And yet, even in the darkness, he couldn't escape the relentless buzzing of the phone, each vibration a jolt of pure terror. More messages flooded in, each one more menacing than the last. "Why did you turn off the lights, Alex?" one message read. "Are you scared? Let me in." The sender knew his name, knew his actions, and was toying with him. Then, more photos began to arrive, each one a snapshot of his own apartment. There was a picture of his front door, the only barrier between him and the unknown. A close-up of the handle, the cold metal gleaming in the dim light. And then, a picture of the peephole, his only window to the outside world. He cautiously peered through the peephole and saw someone was right outside, a dark figure lurking in the hallway. Desperate, Alex dialed 911, his fingers trembling as he struggled to input the numbers. He whispered his address into the phone, afraid to speak too loudly, terrified of alerting the person on the other side of the door. Just as he finished giving his location, a metallic scraping sound came from his door, the unmistakable sound of a key being inserted into the lock. The phone buzzed again, another message flashing across the screen. The message was simple, chilling. Wrong key. Then, silence descended, a heavy, suffocating silence that was more terrifying than any noise. After an eternity, a gentle knock echoed through the apartment, a polite, almost hesitant sound that belied the horror of the situation. The final message arrived, the culmination of the night's terror. It read, "Don't worry, I have a copy." The police arrived to find the hallway empty. The figure vanished without a trace. The phone was untraceable, a ghost in the system, reported stolen months before and wiped clean. Alex moved out the next day, unable to shake the feeling that he was still being watched. He was haunted by nightmares and the chilling memory of that night. The night a simple act of kindness turned into a terrifying ordeal. Even now, years later, sometimes, he still hears scratching at his door in the dead of night, a sound that sends shivers down his spine. It serves as a constant reminder that a simple act of kindness, picking up a lost phone, can open the door to unimaginable terror, and that sometimes the greatest threats come from the most unexpected places. Maya, a bright and ambitious college student, was navigating the challenges of university life. Late-night studying, early morning classes, and the constant pressure to succeed were all part of her daily routine. Like many students, her laptop was her lifeline, a portal to knowledge, a tool for creativity, and a connection to the world beyond campus. It held everything: her research papers, her class notes, her cherished photos, and her personal communications. She relied on it for everything, from writing essays to video chatting with her family back home. Little did she know, this essential piece of technology would soon become a source of unimaginable terror. One fateful evening, while Maya was at a late-night study session in the library, disaster struck. A break-in occurred in her dorm room, and among the stolen items was her beloved laptop. The initial shock and frustration quickly turned to anxiety as she realized the potential consequences of her personal information falling into the wrong hands. Passwords, personal documents, and private photos were all stored on that device. The thought of someone accessing her digital life sent shivers down her spine. She immediately reported the theft to campus security and filed a police report, hoping for a swift resolution. But the feeling of vulnerability lingered, casting a dark shadow over her sense of security. Unable to afford a brand new replacement, Maya scoured online marketplaces and local pawn shops for a used laptop. After weeks of searching, she finally found a seemingly suitable option at a reasonable price. It wasn't the latest model, but it would serve its purpose. She carefully inspected the device, ensuring that it was in good working condition and that all the necessary software was installed. With a mix of relief and apprehension, she purchased the used laptop, hoping to put the ordeal behind her and get back to her studies. Eager to reclaim her digital life, Maya meticulously set up the used laptop, transferring her files, installing her favorite applications, and changing all her passwords. She ran a virus scan, installed a firewall, and took every precaution to protect her privacy. She told herself that this was a fresh start, a chance to rebuild her digital fortress and move on from the trauma of the theft. She tried to convince herself that everything would be all right, that the nightmare was finally over. But the sense of security was short-lived. The very next morning, as Maya checked her email, a chilling message appeared in her inbox. The subject line was simply, "I'm watching you." Her heart pounded in her chest as she cautiously opened the email, a sense of dread washing over her. Attached was a photograph of herself sleeping soundly in her bed, taken from an unsettling angle at the foot of her bed. The image was grainy and distorted, but undeniably her. A wave of terror washed over her as she realized the horrifying truth. Someone was watching her, invading her privacy in the most intimate way possible. Paralyzed by fear, Maya felt her world crumbling around her. She was no longer safe, no longer in control. The sanctuary of her dorm room had been violated, her sense of security shattered. The following day brought another email, another violation. The stalker was relentless, taunting her with their knowledge of her every move. This time, the email contained a photo of her sitting at her desk, working on her laptop. The image was taken from the laptop's webcam, a clear indication that someone had gained remote access to her device. The realization that someone had infiltrated her laptop, turning it into a tool for surveillance, sent a chill down her spine. She was being watched, her every action recorded and scrutinized. In a desperate attempt to regain some control, Maya covered the laptop's webcam with tape, hoping to block the stalker's prying eyes. She ran multiple antivirus scans, hoping to detect and eliminate the malicious software that had compromised her system. But the scans came back clean, offering no clues to the source of the intrusion. Despite her efforts, the emails continued to flood her inbox, each one more menacing than the last. The stalkers seemed to anticipate her every move, taunting her with their omnipresence. The emails included screenshots of her desktop, revealing the files she had been working on, the websites she had visited, and the conversations she had been having. The messages grew increasingly personal and threatening, with the stalker whispering through the screen, "I can still see you, Maya." The stalker knew her class schedule, her study habits, and her social activities. They knew everything about her daily routine, turning her life into a living nightmare. They even seemed to know details about her friends, using their names and personal information to further intimidate her. The stalker's reach extended to her financial life, revealing details of her bank transactions and online purchases. No aspect of her life was safe from their prying eyes. Desperate for help, Maya turned to campus security, but they were unable to offer any concrete solutions. They sympathized with her plight but lacked the resources and expertise to track down the stalker. One night, fueled by desperation and a burning desire to reclaim her life, Maya stayed up late researching ways to completely wipe her laptop, hoping to erase any trace of the stalker's presence. But as she delved deeper into the technical manuals and online forums, her screen suddenly went black, plunging her into darkness. Then, slowly, white text began to appear on the black screen, a chilling message from her tormentor. "That won't get rid of me." The next line sent shivers down her spine. "I'm not in the laptop anymore." The stalker had transcended the boundaries of the device, becoming something far more sinister. Just then, her phone buzzed with a new email notification, the familiar sound sending a jolt of fear through her body. This time, the email contained a video. It was footage from outside her dorm window, taken just moments ago. The camera zoomed in on her face, illuminated by the glow of the laptop screen. A faint whisper echoed in the video, a voice she knew all too well. "I told you." The video ended with a chilling reminder, "I can still see you." The stalker was no longer confined to her laptop. They were out there, watching her, always present. In a moment of terrifying clarity, Maya realized the horrifying truth. The stalker had stolen her old laptop not just for the device itself, but for the access it provided to her digital life. They had used it to access her accounts, track her online activity, and ultimately, to infiltrate her life in the most invasive and terrifying way imaginable. The used laptop was just a red herring. The real threat wasn't the technology itself, but the person wielding it, the one who had turned her digital world into a prison. The real threat was out there, lurking in the shadows, watching her every move, always one step ahead and always terrifyingly present. Clara's story is different, a chilling tale that begins with the most ordinary of objects. Her nightmare didn't involve shadowy figures or ominous phone calls, but something far more insidious, a vanishing tablet. It was her lifeline to the digital world, her creative outlet, and, unbeknownst to her, a gateway to something terrifying. She left it on her desk, right where it always was, stepped away for just a few minutes, perhaps to grab a cup of coffee or answer a quick phone call. The mundane nature of the moment only amplified the horror of what followed, and returned to find it gone, vanished into thin air from her locked house. No forced entry, no broken windows, just an unsettling emptiness where her tablet should have been. The silence of the room was deafening, broken only by the frantic beat of her own heart. She searched everywhere, under the desk, behind furniture, in drawers, even inside closets. Every nook and cranny was meticulously examined, but nothing. The tablet had simply disappeared. The device was offline, completely untraceable, as if it had never existed in the first place. It was as if the tablet had been erased from reality, leaving Clara questioning her own sanity. The next morning, a glimmer of hope, or so she thought. It was back on her desk, sitting innocently as if nothing had happened, glowing faintly, its battery completely drained. The relief was quickly replaced by a creeping sense of dread. In a hidden folder buried deep within the tablet's memory, she found photos that would forever alter her perception of reality. Her ceiling, taken from an unsettling angle, a perspective that suggested someone was lurking just above her. Her hallway, shrouded in darkness, the shadows seeming to writhe and twist in the digital image, and herself asleep, captured from the foot of her bed, a silent, watchful presence invading her most vulnerable moments. The invasion was complete. The doors were locked, every window sealed, no sign of forced entry, no indication of how anyone could have gotten in or out. The mystery deepened, the sense of violation intensified. That night, a lullaby, a distorted, unsettling melody played from the tablet, filling the room with an eerie, childlike tune. The screen went black, the music stopped abruptly, and a child's distorted voice, raspy and chilling, whispered a single word: hiding. Clara fled to a neighbor's house, her heart pounding in her chest, desperate to escape the growing horror that had taken root in her home. Police found nothing, no evidence of a break-in, no sign of any disturbance. To them, it was a simple case of an overactive imagination. Days later, she began losing time, minutes, then hours, disappearing from her memory without a trace. Hours vanished, stolen from her life, and voices, faint and indistinct, whispered from the shadows, taunting her with secrets she couldn't understand. She woke one night on her office floor, disoriented and terrified, unsure of how she had gotten there, furniture pushed aside, as if a struggle had taken place, though she had no memory of it. A spiral drawn in chalk on the wooden floor, a symbol of something ancient and malevolent, and a dead blackbird lying at the center of the spiral, its lifeless eyes staring up at the ceiling. Clara left her home for good, abandoning everything she owned, unable to bear the weight of the inexplicable events that had unfolded. Convinced her tablet had opened a door to something unexplainable, something beyond human comprehension, a dark and terrifying realm that had seeped into her reality. She never returned, forever haunted by the sense that reality itself had glitched, leaving her stranded on the fringes of a nightmare she could never escape. These stories remind us our devices can become portals for fear. A lost phone or laptop isn't just a hassle, it can be an invitation to something far worse. For Alex, Maya and Clara, technology became a source of terror that lingers long after the device is gone. Protect your information and be careful what you bring into your life. Sometimes losing your device is just the beginning. Until next time, try to get some sleep.